on Zoom who are joining us through the magic of the great web that unites us all, that takes one form of the internet, but also is a web that links us all heart to heart, always and forever. And so this Sunday is our Burning Bowl and Vision Quest service. I thank you for your patience in having us reschedule it for today. Since last weekend, the roads were a little iffy for a lot of people. So we did Zoom last week, and it was kind of like old home week, going back to where we did Zoom. But it's so wonderful to welcome people back in person as well as online. And so this is a service we began each year with, where we release what it's time to release and embrace what it's time to embrace through a ritual. And I want to make sure that everybody has their card, and with it, there'll be an envelope and a piece of tracing paper. And we'll take you through the process as we begin, but I want to be sure you've got that. If not, we've got those along with pens at the back of the sanctuary for everyone. And at home, find a piece of paper, a note card, whatever you would like. And then you can do an envelope as well with some paper as to what you want to release, and get them to us here at Unity, and we will include yours in the basket, because we'll take the completed envelopes, and I always put them in our chapel of light, where they are prayed over all through the year until the guidance comes that it's time to send them back out. And I never know when that's going to be. So it will be a surprise in the mail when you get your note to yourself later on. And so welcome this day. We always begin with lighting the Christ candle here, and those of you at home lighting your candles as well. So let's open with "Come Light, Light of God," and then "I am home." And then I have an opening blessing to bring us all together, and then we'll move on into the service from there. So we begin with the lighting of our candles. Come light, light of God, give light to creation, enlighten our hearts and remain with your world. Come light, light of God, give light to creation, enlighten our hearts and remain with your world. And now we're home with our spiritual family. I am home. I am home. I am home. I have traveled far along this road, and now I'm home. Shalom, shalom. In the love of God, I am home. I am home. I am home. I have traveled far along this road, and now I'm home. Shalom, shalom. In the love of God, I am home to Unity and to your spiritual family. This last Thursday, January 6th, was Epiphany, and that is the official end of the entire Christmastide season. It represents the day when the Magi come and bring their gifts and receive the gifts of the Christ child that are given to them as well. And so that time of Christmastide is sealed, and we now have taken those 12 days of Christmas and sought to incorporate the blessings that we received in the Christmas season and incorporate them into ourselves and how we're going to live that in the coming year. So it's perfect that following Epiphany, we celebrate the new year with this day of conscious co-creation with the divine and with the giving and receiving of the gifts of spirit. So I invite you to settle in as we do the whispering tree calling of the directions and the elements. Oh, into this day, into this service, and into our lives. O Spirit of the East, land of the rising sun, of air, the winds that blow across the land, of new beginnings of each day and of open horizons, we bless you and ask you for your wisdom and blessing here with us today. Please join us, Spirit of the East. O Spirit of the South, place of passion, fire, and creation and inspiration, whose warm breath reminds us of summer days. Ignite our hearts with love. We bless you and ask for your wisdom and blessing with here today. Please join us, Spirit of the South. O Spirit of the West, the land of the setting sun, of water and autumn's whisper, bless us with the knowledge of peace, which follows the harvest of a fruitful life. We bless you and ask you for your wisdom and blessing here today. Please join us, Spirit of the North. O Spirit of Mother Earth, you support us each day, welcoming our roots deep into your heart. You nurture and guide us, finding sustenance and support. Help us to give thanks always for your bounty. We bless you and ask for your wisdom and blessing here today. Please join us, Spirit of Mother Earth. O Spirit of the North, place of quiet, stillness, of cave and deep earth, place of thankfulness for the knowledge and blessings that have come to us with time, place of the North Star that ever guides us. We bless you and ask your wisdom and blessing here today. Please join us, Spirit of the North. O Spirit of Father Sky, of the angelic realms, the countless stars of the night, remind us that you are vast, beautiful, and majestic beyond all of our knowledge or understanding. Your light shines upon the earth both day and night, guiding our steps. We bless you and ask you for your wisdom and blessing here today. Please join us, Father Sky. O Spirit of our souls within, place of union, love, and reverence. We are grateful for this gift of life and for the love that guides our way. We open our hearts and join with all in love. It is begun. And so now there is only love.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is I've lost my way. When I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear spirits say, there is only love. There is only love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Well, good morning. Isn't that the truth? The love that sets us free. So today is indeed a very special day here for this spiritual community. And that is probably the only real ritual we do for the whole year. God doesn't take vacation days and doesn't get sick or tired, doesn't get disinterested. He, she is simply always here to hear our burdens. Why hang on to what doesn't carry us forward anymore? And why not just give it up to the powerful hand of Spirit? So the burning bowl is about that. All of us carry around something that doesn't serve us. And how it got developed is, psychologists work on that all the time. But from a spiritual standpoint, what's important is that we can rearrange things, take away that hook, that power that we place on whatever that might be, and let it go, and give it up, let go, let God. And then that creates, however, a void, and nature abhors a void. So look at your closet. So on the flip side of that is to claim what it is that we want to manifest. What's going to serve us this next year? And so that's that process. And for you at home, we will walk through that as we get into the service. So the basic question is really about claiming. The master teachers of Jesus said this, "Come to me, all of you who are weary, who are burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light." The reason his yoke was easy and his burden is light was that he was so plugged into the Spirit that he let God do what God does best and not try to, in the human form, take it on. That connection was so strong. At least that was my opinion. In Romans, Paul said this, "Do not be conformed in this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." So that's what we're going to do, is go through this renew your mind thing. So we put all this to task today by releasing that which doesn't serve and declaiming that which we expect to come in this new year. And that seems like a pretty big task, but Wayne Dyer puts it this way. And I found this morning and I thought, boy, is this ever true? You are divine enough to ask and important enough to receive. You are divine enough to ask and important enough to receive. And that takes us right into the daily word, which was for today is guidance. Divine wisdom helps me discover my unique spiritual path. Tending to my spiritual life keeps me attentive to the whispers of my heart and in tune to my internal guidance. I am grateful for those moments when I rely upon my spiritual intuition to discern my path forward. I don't know about you, but sometimes my path forward seems a little confused. And that's the time I need to step back and rely upon my spiritual guidance to figure out which way to go. But sometimes my guidance feels far away for me to access on my own. Glenn, it was me. At those times, I may seek the assistance of my trusted friends, thank you, Glenn, and advisors. I may seek the wise counsel of my minister or spiritual counselor who encourage me to discover the wisdom found in the depth of my own consciousness. He, she, or they can pray for me, listen with empathy, and share my joy as my innate wisdom leads me along my unique spiritual path. I am grateful for all those who walk the path alongside me. And from John, be the advocate, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father has sent in my name, for he will teach you everything and remind you of all that I have said to you. Divine wisdom helps me discover my unique spiritual path. And so it is. Amen.
Oh, so we now come to the time of prayer and meditation together, where we unite in spirit in the presence of the divine. And so let us use the chant, "Open my heart," to carry us into that chamber of our heart, the meeting place with spirit, with our higher self, and with one another. And we'll use that once again to call us out of meditation back into the embodiment in our outer lives, where the two truly are one. Open my heart.
My heart, open my heart, open my heart, open my heart, open my heart. Open my heart. Open my heart. Open my heart. One more time. Open my heart. Open my heart. Open my heart. Open my heart.
And so we have opened our hearts to welcome in the abiding presence of spirit and the divine. We open our hearts in vulnerability to be open to life's experiences. We open our hearts in willingness to be channels of peace and compassion and love. We open our hearts to receive all of the healing energy, peace, wisdom, compassion, and love and grace. This is ours to receive in the unfolding of our lives. Each one of us is a unique soul, an expression of the divine. Each one coming into a uniquely formed life as a place to learn and grow and connect with the presence of God in new ways. to find blessings in unexpected places, to come to offer our gifts and to receive the gifts of others and this world. Settle for a few moments in silence and stillness in that sacred place at the core of your being, and connect with that eternal part of yourself that is your spirit, your soul, remembering that truly you are a divine being having an earthly experience for a divine reason. You are eternal, but recognize and settle in and center in to this life and this moment, knowing you are loved exactly as you are and as your life is unfolding. Settle in to this place of peace now. Feel the presence of the divine encircling, enfolding, embracing you right here and right now. And hear this beautiful Child of Light prayer from May Rowland that we used in the Christmas season as a reminder of who we truly are and how we can hold one another in a spiritual sense of peace and oneness. Let us incorporate this into ourselves, our individual soul paths, and the world we share. Receive this blessing. Child of light, I bless you. I think of you. I pray for you. Not in terms of what I think you need or what I think you should do or be or express. I lift up my thoughts about you. I catch a new vision of you. I see you as a child of light. I see you guided and directed by an inward spirit that leads you unerringly into the path that is right for you. I see you whole and strong. I see you blessed and prospered. I see you courageous and confident. I see you capable and successful. I see you free from any limitation or bondage of any kind. I see you as the spiritually perfect being you truly are. Child of light, I bless you. Allowing this blessing to touch every level of being, body, mind, heart, and soul. And having received the blessing of the child of light, now in this moment, offer this gift to the world as you offer the prayers that are yours this day for yourself and others, this spiritual family, our nation, our shared world, and the realms beyond. Offer your prayers silently or aloud, however you are so guided, and feel the circle of children of light uplifting your prayers and already looking for their unfolding in miraculous and amazing ways in the coming days. Let us pray. blessed. We bring into this sacred space and unite with these prayers all of those entrusted to the High Watch prayer chaplains, written, spoken, or sent soul to soul. And we send a special blessing this day to David's mother, who returned to spirit this week. We know she went surrounded with love and upon the grace of the angels. We see her complete and happy and at peace, still uniting in love with those here on earth. And we unite with her in surrounding her husband and David and Teresa and the entire family with our loving support as we unite with them in celebrating the amazing life of this wonderful soul that bless them and our shared world. Each one of us at some moment will make that shift, taking our last breath and going back through that portal through which we came when we took our first breath. This day is a wonderful day to reflect on what legacy will you leave? What remembrances will be held in the hearts of others? And how in this coming year can you share the light in your own heart with others and with our shared world? And so gather yourself, your life, and the coming year into this sacred space and be willing to embrace life at powerful new ways. As an inspiration, Donna Markova's "I will not die an unlived life." I will not die an unlived life. I will not live in fear of falling or catching fire. I choose to inhabit my days, to allow my living to open me, to make me less afraid, more accessible, to loosen my heart until it becomes a wing, a torch, a promise. I choose to risk my significance, to live so that that which came to me as seed goes on to the next as blossom, and that which came to me as blossom goes on as fruit. Your presence in our world is more important than you could ever imagine. Know we see and love and appreciate you. And we give thanks that we get to move through this world together. We unite with all of those who pray for peace this day. And we go forth willing to bless and to be blessed each and every day. And so with hearts overflowing with gratitude, we give thanks for this day, for this ritual, for this spiritual community, and for everything in our lives and for one another. And we open to live life with new grace and compassion and wisdom. And it begins with opening our hearts. Open my heart.
Open my heart, open my heart, open my heart.
And so it is. Om, amen, and blessed be. Namaste. I behold the Christ light in each and every one of you this day and always.
So I'll try not to hold on to the button, which is my safety pin here. Right, Glenn? All right, thank you. So, day one, take that first breath, pop out, and then life happens. And we start out and there's kind of this huge blank slate in the start in life. First thing we see is our parents. Then we have siblings. And then pretty soon we start building an understanding of how relationship in the world is, how I am. If I cry, something happens. And if I don't cry, something else happens. And we get to experience all of our things of our five senses and build our repertoire of that. Then as time goes on and we start growing up, we have all sorts of guides and teachers. Learn how to do the alphabet and the multiplication tables and have friends that don't like me and have friends that love me and yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then we get even older as we come along and then we get into high school or junior high and all of those years. And all of that puts impressions on us. Then we get into adulthood and things happen in life. Some really good, some really bad, some in between, but they all happen. And those are all experiences that are stored in us. And then we come further along and then eventually we go, like Pam said, we transition back into spirit. All of those experiences that we have create our beliefs, our attitudes, our assumptions about how we see the world. I look at it like an aperture of a camera. So my aperture can be really wide, I can have an expansive view of the world, or I can be very narrow and have a very narrow view of the world. My lens can be clean, so I got a nice clear view of the world, or it could be really dirty and have just a funky little view of the world. So part of today is to look at those things that are shady or the aperture is not wide enough or whatever it might be. It's kind of like a computer. So we've got our conscious self, our subconscious self, our unconscious self. And fortunately, we have this thing called a superconscious self, which is spirit. In our conscious self, that is like the keyboard and the monitor that we have. So we get to make things happen. We get to make choices, how our fingers are going to move. It is also our RAM, or random access memory, which is your working programs, the data that's stored for instantaneous use. Our five senses say this, we do this kind of based on what our program looks like. So that's part of it. So we got our conscious side over here, doing all those kinds of things. Then we have our subconscious. That's like they call it the ROM. I love it. Read-only data memory. Read-only memory. So we don't get to manipulate it. We get to read it only. We get to pull it up into our consciousness, and then we get to manipulate it. But if not, it just sits back there and just is waiting for something to happen. And then we have our unconscious. And for us humans, typically our unconscious was created by negative events. Our unconscious is the place of where we shove down, it's like the cloud, I guess. We don't understand the cloud. The cloud is not, if I wrote a letter and put it into the cloud, it is not in one spot. It is in a myriad of spots. And when I ask for that letter back out of the cloud, it reconfigures itself and brings it back for me. How that's magic of the 21st century. But our unconscious is where we really store those those really hurtful things, and we suppress that. And we stick it into a place and say, "You're going to put it in this box down here, this drawer. I'm not going to open." However, we don't forget that stuff. It may be unconscious to us, but it's like a computer. You can't erase all the data off your computer. There's a thing called metadata, which is an impression inside the computer that we don't get to erase. We can bust the hard drive, which in our end would be terminating our own computer, but the metadata is still there. So this whole thing about, as you go through this releasing process, it is to call up those things that don't serve us, but they don't serve us based on a whole series of lifetime worth of experiences. And unlike our computer, we have emotions. And so anybody have a child, and the child or a spouse or a partner or a friend that can push your buttons? I've got a 41-year-old daughter, and it doesn't take her long at all to push that button or those buttons. And that's based on the experiences that we had together. And it's based also on my own experiences as I was growing up. There were some things that I carry with me that I don't think about. I couldn't even tell you what date they happened or what the total circumstance was. But those emotional hooks follow through all the way up into here we are today. So if somebody comes up to me and does X, and I can feel it, right? I go, whoa, or I'm going to fight or flight or whatever my reaction is based on all that stuff, all this history that goes and comes up and boom, right here in my consciousness. We get to choose how we react. That's the cool part. We can go and fight back just because we can fight back, because that's what I would have done back then. Or I can choose a different way and maybe not fight back, or step aside, or do whatever it is that's be different on my behaviors, so I don't get bought into that and don't have all that energy come through my system. The thing that we got the capability of doing is not necessarily reprogram ourselves, although part of it is kind of reprogramming, but to bring it to light, and then to say, okay, yes, I carry this around, but I'm not going to give it any more power. I'm not going to allow it to make my decision. I'm going to make my decision for me consciously. And that's part of really being, as Pam would call it, prayed up. You know, this is an amazing woman behind me here that, and the prayer chaplains would say the same thing, is that when we sit over here on the side of the sanctuary and pray for an hour, and then somebody says, can I pray with you? We are prayed up. We are in a place where our heart is open, we're willing and able to receive, and then to go through the prayer, do a positive prayer that is effective. But if it was just somebody grabbed me out of the audience, or grabbed me out on the street and say, you want to pray with me, I got to stop for a second and go, because I'm not ready for that. So what this process we're going to do here quickly is that we get ourselves ready and be able to, one, consciously do this so that we can make those different choices on how we react and how we walk around the world. Get rid of those things that don't work so good for us anymore. And most of them are not physical things, although you could do it in your closet, but they're mental things that we carry, and each one of us have it. So we are not alone because we are human. And it really gets down to changing your thinking, changing your life. And when I got into New Thought, this whole idea that somehow that I could change myself by changing my thinking and changed my life. Looking at my life from the inside out. I came to a place looking from the life from the outside in. And when I discovered, through lots of different ways, but when I discovered that it was from looking from the inside out, wow, that really changed how I look at myself and how I react and how I navigate in the world. So that's a real blessing. So as we acknowledge these things, these shortcomings that we may perceive we have, we can let go of the power. No, I'm not on the switch. Let go of the power that they have to control us. So I'm going to in a moment lead us into a meditation. And during that meditation, some things may bubble up for, which they should, hopefully, if I do it right. And you have a little piece of tracing paper. Oh, I think I brought that up. Little piece of tracing paper. And then at home, if you have a piece of paper of any kind, tracing paper works good because it's easy to burn. If you have a little piece of paper. So we finish the meditation. We have a song that we'll sing. And then we will just let go. Let it go. What is it? Release and I let go. When we finish that song, we will take some time to write on that piece of paper. Now, this is between you and Spirit. Spirit already knows. But what you're doing is you're anchoring your consciousness on that piece of paper in terms of what it is you want to release. Spirit doesn't need a paragraph, probably doesn't need a complete sentence, a word or two that reminds you of what it is you're getting rid of is probably all you really need. So are we going to do the song first, or are you just going to play background? I think, yeah, let's just go ahead and go into the meditation. So I invite you to close your eyes and just, and you want to play a little background? Yeah. Just close your eyes. I'm going to take you on a little trip. Today we're going to go on a day hike. We're going to go and go up to this place that gives us a high vista of our surroundings. So we get to the trailhead and we put on our day pack. We begin to head out. Walking through the forested trail, we enjoy the freshness of the air and the greenery all around. Can you smell it? Feel it? We begin to climb out of the forest and begin to step above the tree line. And at this point, it's time to find a place to rest. We come upon a pond. And this pond is absolutely still. We can sit down and look at our reflection in that pond. Taking off our pack, have a snack. Gaze into the pond gives me a perfect reflection of myself and a blue sky background. Glancing up, I can see the destination in front of me. Feeling a bit refreshed, I prepare to leave. I pick up my day pack and notice it's fruity. Seems to be a lot heavier it was than when I first put it on. So I look at my pack and say, okay, maybe I don't need everything I'm carrying up this mountain today. So I begin to unload it, sorting out what I need for my final ascent and what I can leave behind. As I dig into the pack, I come across a burden that is weighting me down, a burden of an old habit, a dependency, an unhealthy boundary, or a relationship that no longer serves me along my journey. Digging further, I find unforgivenesses or judgments about myself or others or events that I was carrying in my pack. I find a stone of doubt and fear that was weighing me down, a brick of inadequacy or lack or criticism of myself or others. So I gently take these objects out of my pack and set them aside. And I continue on with my journey with a lightened load. I easily ascend to that viewpoint of my destination. And what a sight I behold. What do you find in the day pack of your life? Ask for guidance. What and how to let go? What and how to clear out? What do I no longer need? What have I outgrown or not forgiven? What are my doubts and my fears about moving forward? What does not serve me on this journey? In this place of sacred silence, I released old burdens that weigh me down. I let go of feelings or hurts that bind me to my past. By letting go and letting God, I am healed in my mind, in my body, in my soul.
In the silence of my soul, I release and let go. Oh, my soul, I release and let go. In the silence of my soul, I release and let
Go ahead and take your paper,
Let go.
release that which does not serve.
In the silence, oh my soul.
And when you're complete, just set that paper aside,
I release.
and we will pick it up and burn it towards the end of our service.
And let go in the silence, oh my soul. I release and let go, oh my soul. I release, I let go, I release, I let go.
And we now come to the second portion of today's ritual, which is the vision quest. Having released and created an open space for something new, this is where you begin to form and set the intention of that which you wish to seek and have in the coming year. And for this portion, you'll be using the card. And inside, in a few moments, as part of a meditation and a chant, you'll write a note to yourself about that which you vision for the year, your intention, that which you seek in the coming year. And then on the front of the envelope, self-address it. And then at the end of the service, toward the end, we'll have you bring up and burn the releases and hand me your letter to yourself, and they'll be placed on the altar. And then after the service, they'll remain in the chapel of light being prayed over for all of you. To lighten your load, to open space is the first part of this. And it's so amazing how much of our lives we tend to do things just by rote and tradition. And when we get the opportunity to stop and think, how do I really want to use this gift that is my life? How do I want to use my time, my talent, my treasure, my touch to make a difference in the world? The outer world has us do New Year's resolutions. Those are usually about outer conditions. They're focused on willpower and ego, which is why normally by the middle of the month, we've already messed up. This is very different than a resolution in the outer world. This is an intention set at a soul level that has multidimensional connections to spirit, to life, to all of creation. Spirit is marked by movement from the inside, invisible, out to the visible. We are co-creators with the divine. We take the essence and the energy of the life we've been given, and we have the free will to choose, what do we do with it? What choices do we make? How can we imagine a better world for each of us and for all of us together? I've always loved the power of denials and affirmations. And I loved what was said in Patterns for Self-Unfoldment. The use of denial and affirmation in positive thinking is not turning away from reality. It is rather the activity of seeing beyond false appearances to a higher perception of reality. It's having that higher vision. Mary Manon Morrissey says the universe can only do for you what it can do through you. We are instruments of the divine. There's a new book that David introduced me to called The Gentle Art of Blessing, and I'll be working with it this year, and then we'll focus on it in November together. But it's the importance of looking for blessings all the way along your life and being willing to offer blessings. He says spirituality lived in everyday life, the most mundane circumstances, at the office, the factory, while gardening, washing the car, in business and married life, washing dishes in suffering and in joy. It must be spiritual or it has no reason to exist. If the spiritual path is not lived in the everyday, where will it be lived? Ashrams in the Himalayas, monasteries in Tuscany may be conducive to spiritual seeking, but that's not where the majority of us spend most of our time. Rabbi Hillel is reputed to have said, if not you, who? If not now, when? I invite you, as you focus on your intentions for this year, see your life as pilgrimage, as spiritual unfolding, as a path. Ram Dass stressed that everything is grist for the mill, absolutely everything. A traffic jam, an illness, a theft, a noisy neighbor, a flat tire, all become an opportunity to learn, to discover, to progress, to repent, to rejoice, to unveil, to awaken, to love, and to wonder. The smallest detail of life, every single encounter, be it with a saint or a snail, can sparkle with tender interest and become aglow with enchantment. That is the real excitement of the spiritual path. It's beauty, depth, joy, and yes, it's fun. Every single event in life can become an opportunity for a silent, yes, thank you. Seeing the blessings in all. Zen Buddhists have a wonderful way of looking at things. They say an oak tree is brought into creation by two forces at the same time, and the same is true for us in our lives. The acorn is the seed that holds all the promise and the potential of what will grow into a tree. Everybody can see that force, but only a few see another force operating as well. It is the future tree itself which wants so badly to exist that it pulls the acorn into being, drawing the seedling forth with longing out of the void, guiding evolution from nothingness into manifestation. The oak tree, in this respect, creates the very acorn from which it was born. Life as this amazing circle of spirit. And so in this moment, I invite you to do what Meister Eckhart speaks of. And when the soul wishes to experience something, she throws an image of that experience out before her and then enters into the image she's created. So this day, instead of making a list of to-do things, as you vision this possibility, what is it that is yet to come into being, that is meant to come through you, that you feel stirring now, but is also calling you from outside you? An inner and an outer calling for you to offer to the world the unique gifts that you alone can bring. What are you going to vision consciously today that you will step into? Not so much what you're going to do, but more, how are you going to live? What are you willing to notice? What blessings are you willing to see in the midst of even deepest challenges, as well as in moments of joy? And what blessings can you offer through you to the world in a unique way that no one else could ever have done it? And so I invite you to connect with that soul before it took that first breath, with the wisdom and the calling that it had. Bring it into this moment and let it speak to you at heart, reminding you why you are here, reminding that you are blessed with everything you need, and that you get to choose how you use your life, the energies of your life, your time, your talents, your treasures, and your touch. How will you bless and be blessed this coming year? We're going to use a beautiful chant to take us into meditation as we each connect with this vision of new possibility and set it out before us so that we can step into it consciously and willingly and gracefully as the year unfolds. My heart is the road, for truly it is. We'll do the chant, and then as we do the chant, I'll shift into a moment of meditation, and then we'll chant some more, and you can write as we chant.
My heart is the road, and I will not be hurried. In my heart is the road, bless my feet on the journey to Jerusalem, to Jerusalem, to the place of peace, to the place of peace. In my heart is the road, and I will not be hurried. In my heart is the road, bless my feet on the journey to Jerusalem, to Jerusalem, to the place of peace, to the place of peace.
So now settling into that place of peace, Jerusalem is habitation of peace. Oh, in this place of peace, having created an open space in which you can choose how you're going to use the blessings and the energy of your life. Now continue on that beautiful journey that David began. On the mountain, in the trees, with water in the distance, sky above. Feel how you are incredibly nourished and supported by life itself to be who you are and to do that which is uniquely yours to do. Allow the beauty of nature and all of creation to remind you that you do not do this alone and that you do it in a world of wonder if you have but the eyes to see and the ears to hear. So journey in this sacred place and allow yourself with each gentle step to begin to vision that which you are walking towards. They are asked the masters, how do I get to Shambhala, to Valhalla, to heaven? And they say it's simple. Just make sure each step is in that direction. And so set your compass. See your North Star above you and record it not just on this paper, but upon your heart as to how you will be present in the world this year, giving and receiving gifts and blessings. In my heart is the road. Chant, and as you're ready, write your card.
My heart is the road, and I will not be hurried. In my heart is the road. Bless my feet on the journey to Jerusalem, to Jerusalem, to the place of peace, to the place of peace.
And so now when you're ready, take your card and seal it in your self-addressed envelope with your tracing paper separate. And we'll now prepare to come forward. And we have 2 candles, so we can have lines come up both sides here. And what you'll do is you'll take your tracing paper, and when you're ready, just light it from one of the candles here on the altar, and then place it in the sand and let it burn as you consciously release it. And then if you'll hand me your card, I will bless it and then place it upon the altar.
Pam,
And in preparation for that, yes,
Can-
what?
can I make a suggestion? Because of distancing, it might be better to do the lines to the candles from the outside,
Outside, good
and then
idea.
walking up the inside.
Great.
Okay.
Good idea. So come from the outside in and then go back down the center aisle. Because as we learned from the Magi, you come, but you return home by a different way. And so as we prepare to do this, I wanted to share 2 short pieces. One comes from Black Elk. And this is for all of us individually and collectively. And I was seeing in a sacred manner the shapes of all things in spirit, and the shape of all things as they must live together like one being. And I saw that the sacred hoop of my people was one of many hoops that made one circle, wide as daylight and starlight. And in the center, there grew one mighty flowering tree to shelter all of the children of the one mother and the one father. And I saw that it was holy. So we are co-creating a world together that works for all, which is one of our important unity statements. And from a Navajo prayer, go forth in peace, be still within yourself, and know that the trail is beautiful. May the winds be gentle on your face, and your direction be straight and true as the flight of the eagle. Walk in beauty and harmony with God and his angels. Go forth in peace. So I invite you to come forward. And blessing to the world is the chant that we will do as we share this.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. chains that bind me. I am free, I am unlimited right now, right now.
All that has been released to go back to the nothingness from which it came, so it can take new form that will bless us. And we unite in blessing all of these visions and intentions and possibilities. And we support them with our prayers and with our presence. And so it is. David.
Okay. Well, as it would be, this would be the time of the service where we receive gifts of time, talents, and treasures. Mostly the treasure side, it's easier that way. So as we prepare our gifts, we bless them do here each week. And it's like Wayne Dyer said, we're divine enough to ask, we're important enough to receive. So with our gifts, divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. Indeed.
I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so
Ah, sweet, sweet Spirit, Mother, Father, God, who we live and move and have our being. We are important enough to receive all the goodness that comes from your hand. And we're divine enough to ask. Ask when the time gets tough. Ask for that support. We thank you for all that comes in all of its forms. We receive these gifts and we send them forward that each person may feel that someplace along the line, may find their importance as an individual and their connection to the divine, which makes that possible. And from that place, let us create a new beginning, a new tomorrow, heaven on earth. And let's do that in our lifetime. And so it is. Amen. All right. I'll take those. Got it. Okay, just a couple short announcements. Oh, this is a long service. First of all, in gratitude and thanksgiving, we met the goal, Festival of Lights. So we raised the $10,000 we were looking for the end of the year. And isn't that one? It's just like those little cottages over at Haynes Street, you know. It's just, I don't know, it's just something about being able to serve in that respect and serve each other in that respect. So that is wonderful. Now, we've done the burning part, we did the writing part. If you really want to grok this thing for next year, you need to build a collage. Lay it out there so you can see it, not only today, but tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day. when I was taking some prosperity classes, one of the things we did was to create a collage. So we went through a similar process. What do we want to manifest in our life in terms of prosperity? And then we put a collage in, and then the collage was supposed to be put someplace in your home or your domicile where you would see it at least once a day. And that just reinforces to our consciousness and our subconsciousness of what it is that we said we want to claim for ourselves. And that workshop's going to happen between 3 and 5 this afternoon, back in the hearth room or in the sanctuary. I'm not sure which, here. So we got lots of space. So it's do we need more magazines and things? Would that be helpful?
People can bring them, right? We've got a bunch, but bring more if you want.
Okay, so if there's something that you want to bring, fine. If not, it'll be provided here. I've got paper and the glue and all that kind of stuff. But between 3 and 5 this afternoon, there's a chance to really cement in and then hang it in your place, in your house. The morning mirror is always a good spot. It depends on the size of your mirror, the size of your collage. But anyway, that's happening this afternoon at 3 to 5. Everything else that's going on is on the website, unitypt.org. Wednesday is high noon, and we continue on with that prayer meditation time. So with that, I think that we can conclude our
Yes.
Burning
I
Bowl
think so.
Vision Quest.
We're going to do birthdays and anniversaries?
No, we're going to
Okay.
hold off on that.
Okay, good.
So please rise and we'll do the peace song.
Make our circle.
Yes,
there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be with God as Creator, united all are we. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is a moment now. With every breath I take, yes, this is my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me.
And we know the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
And as the love of God, we embrace. And as the power of God, we stand in truth. And as the presence of God, we endeavor to express our divinity in all that we do. Have a wonderful week, everybody.